Come on in. Do your best above your shoulder moves. What do you got? Pop it into gallery view. Let's see your moves. Oh yeah. Everybody. Woohoo! Come on, it is a great song. Yeah. Oh my God. Hello, everybody. Guess who I have? This is going to be the most fun hour. Okay, just buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're sensitive to F-bombs, put in some earplugs because it's going to be rowdy. It's going to be fun. Because look, I've got Christine Sperber in the house today.
Everybody.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to our first live event of 2024. We're kicking off a new year. We're excited to see you. And some of you already know our favorite little rituals and routines. So pop in the chat. Where are you in the world? And Christine, think of something fun that we also want to hear from everybody. What do we want to know?
Well, I think we stay with the theme of the song Call Your Girlfriend, ending things that no longer serve us. What are you dropping in 2024? What are you dropping? What are you letting go? What doesn't serve you?
What are you dropping in 2024?
Sembe,
Okay.
I saw that you were on here. What
Putting
are you
myself last, fear and
Well,
worry, stress, baggage, doubt. Look at you guys are killing it.
full-time job, overscheduling. Oh my God, can you be my mentor? I need
Things I cannot control, fear, alcohol, addicted, anything that is additive to my growth. Okay.
I think
excessive caretaking. Ooh, good one.
Oh, you are my people. Anything that is not additive.
My inner critic.
Thought you were going with this.
Look
Imposter syndrome. Have you heard Jeff Hamaway, the brilliant Jeff Hamaway, talk about reframing imposter syndrome as explorer syndrome? Of course, you've been here before and you are merely exploring. And suddenly, instead of feeling, at least for me, feeling like, what am I doing at this table? I've suddenly got like Indiana Jones's hat and whip. And I'm like, let's go, mofos. It doesn't always work, but
it helps.
It helps. It helps. Pleasing everybody. Yeah, you guys, great ones about what we are leaving behind. For those of you who didn't know that song, it's Robin, who is ageless and has amazing videos that she takes in one shot. And that song is called Call Your Girlfriend. And it is an ode to saying goodbye and saying hello. There we go. Carrie, back to you.
Woo! All right, this is going to be fun. So we decided as we go through 2024, just so you know, we're going to be doing a lot more live events. So clear your calendar. There's nothing more fun to do than to be here with us. We want to feature a bunch of our guest faculty that are going to be teaching at both of our campuses. So look forward to at least 2 live events a month. And we're super stoked about that. So we have today in the house, Barbara Waxman, master teacher. Barbara has been with us from the very, very beginning. She's amazing. She is a content creator. She's a gerontologist. She's a writer. She is a coach. She totally gets MEA and our whole ethos in such a profound way. And really excited that she'll be teaching again.
In the space. Barbara, you are
yes, ma'am.
In this space.
Thank you, guys. I'm so psyched to be here. And I love the topic. I needed it myself. So I'm here, fully present, ready to go.
Love it. Love it. All right, Christine, I'm going to let you do the honors for our second unbelievable master teacher, Shelley Paxton.
Oh, so this is my co-leader. Shelley and I have produced workshops together for the last few years. This year we are not, but next year we're coming back strong with a few different ideas together. Shelley is rowdy, and Shelley, I love that about you, because what I've seen when we do workshops together is that you allow people to kind of access their own inner rowdy, where they're like, wow, okay, game on, got this, here we go. Wait, what does this say?
I knew it. It didn't take long. She didn't say it though.
For those of you who don't know, Shelley wrote the book that's behind her, Soulbatical, and it was based on her experience being the CMO at Harley Davidson, which, you know, by most people's metrics would be a dream job. And you realized that it was not your dream, didn't you, Shell? And that took you in a whole new direction. And you've been shining that light for people ever since. I'm just going to keep talking and not let you speak at all. What do you think? Joking. Go.
I'll just mime and mouth. I like when you speak for me. No, thank you. Thank you. This is such an honor. And I keep seeing these numbers tick up. So I love being with Barbara and Carrie and Christine and all 225 of you. It's, well, let's just kick it off. It's fucking amazing. What a great way to start the year. So thank you for having me.
All right. So what are we doing, Carrie? Master
Well,
of-
what are we doing? So I thought it would be really fun to bring the two of them together, that both Barbara and Shelley have spent a lot of time thinking about transitions, which is a big part of our curriculum at MEA, because why? We're always in them all the time. It's one of the things that we have in common, all of us together. And so I wanted to just have both of you reflect that most people are already over the New Year's resolutions by this time of January. Like it lasts maybe a day or two, and then we're either over it or under it or never even looked at it. But yet there also is this sense of, what am I going to do this year? What's different? What is my plan? What are my goals? And I think both of you have taken this approach of like, let's just step back from that and let's look at something a little more spacious. And, you know, soulbatical, the whole idea of reframing a sabbatical to get out of a situation or to gain perspective. And Barbara's written about repotting herself and has done the same. So I just wanted to start there. For those of us in the audience who are in that place of wondering what the F this year is up for me, let's start. What would you recommend? How would we think about this year differently? Or how do we unthink about some of those things that weren't so helpful for us? Maybe, Shelley, you can kick us off.
I love it. Thank you. I'll share my very personal perspective on this. And exactly as Barbara said, like we teach what we most need to learn. And I think we get invited to the conversations we most need to have. And so, Barbara, I was so with you when you said that, because this was a good chance for me to reflect on how I'm approaching the year. And what's really important to me, resolutions are not my thing. Like that word, even like I can feel myself constricting and wanting to like crawl under the bed and never come back out again. And so one of the major shifts I've made is really thinking about, I talk about this in terms of success overall. You can think about it for each year or each day or each week. Like success is a feeling, not a checklist. And resolutions feel like a checklist. They feel like the doing and less like the being. So the question I ask all of you that I've been asking myself is, what do I want to feel in 2024? Or what do I want to feel more of in 2024? And I've been doing this over and over again. And I got to a word. I'm like, you know what? I feel ready. This is mine. My word this year is ready. And it's based on a feeling and a mindset. And that's been a major shift. So I offer that up to the group. How do you want to feel in 2024?
Pop it in the chat, Aru. Christine popped in strong.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, Barbara, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. All right. So much to say. Before I even realized this was our topic, I've been leaning into this because I have needed it so very badly. So number one, I think that we all, at this time in history, have become more human doings than human beings. It is so challenging to stay connected to our humanity when we wake up with information coming at us, right? Whether we're checking our phones or listening to a podcast, we're just information machines, which means we live in our heads, which means we treat ourselves like computers with an on and off switch. We kind of figure like, I'll reboot, I'll relax, I'll figure out what I really care about, I'll feel my feels like on the weekend or when I'm exhausted at night. So one thing I'm trying to do is every day before I get out of bed, think being, not just doing. And when I do that, I can accomplish more in less time because I'm more in flow with how my energy works. So, number one, are you a human being or are you a human doing? The other, Shelley, tagging on to what you were saying, love it, is what's my theme of the year? We can't accomplish everything. So, and yet we want to do a lot of different things. What's my overarching theme? So if you were to give this year a theme for yourself, what might it be? For me, I have gone back to something that I came up with when my mother passed away almost 7 years ago. I'd taken myself out of action to care for her in her last few months. And then I didn't know how to rejoin society, more or less. And so I practiced, and it worked, saying yes to joy. And that's my theme that I felt like I needed this year. Say yes to joy is my theme. If it doesn't bring me joy, I'll minimize it, or say no and extricate myself from it. So I'd love to see in the chat, what is your theme of the year? I'd say those are the two biggest things that come up for me.
Love that. I love that the theme is also positive leaning rather than like something I don't want to do. It's so much more fun to have something you want to lean into. Explore more in 24. Ooh, that's a fun one. That's very Jeff Hamui, Jean.
Ooh, look at this one. Joseph Todd, theme, friendships for the future. We know from social science that the strength of our social connections in our 50s impact our longevity. So great one. Lean into that connectivity. Probably one of my most favorite takeaways from MEA, and it showed up right when we did the beta. So in 2017, I started working 2018. We did our first beta test that was 13 cohorts long, 153 people came through. And what showed up right away, besides Jeff Hamui in our very first cohort and Carrie Cardinale, who was not Cardinale at that point, she married into the clan, was the density of community and how important it is to have thought partners around us as we're moving through these transitions. If I had to tease out one theme of all these emergent themes over these last 6 years, I would say community and connectivity have been so incredibly important. And to echo the two of you, talking about things that we need to learn, I live in this. I've lived in this for 6 years, preach the importance of it. I've designed experiences to foster it. And I still find myself, because I get so head down in work, that I have the moments where I can pick my head up and go, okay, oh, wow, I have a weekend, I have a few days. And it's like, I have not been investing in my community. I have not been investing in those relationships in the way that I need to. And I'm prioritizing work. I hope I get a little pass on that right now. We're about to expand, but I don't know if that rings true for anybody else. But I would say my theme for 24, and I put this in the chat, is strength. I really want to show up strong. I want to be strong for our team. I want to be strong for my nieces. I want to be strong for me. I see there's some women on this call. I don't know if anyone else has dealt with the perimenopause and menopausal changes that impact muscle growth, weight gain. I woke up, God, I guess it was like about in March of last year, there was a perfect storm of a very dear friend posted a photo of me that was quite eye-opening. I was like, who is that person? And clothes stopped fitting. And so the personal time that I carve out now is working out almost every single morning. I have been working out, and it is such a game changer, and it feeds into that word of strength for me because I am weightlifting, which, in menopause is so important for us, weight-bearing exercise. I was going someplace else and I've forgotten it. See, earlier note about perimenopause, menopause.
Tag on to what you're saying.
Please.
It happens, right, in menopause. We tend to forget. But you were talking about connection when you were starting. And I want to point something out that's really critical. And there are these dark energy forces around community and connection that happen too. We get sucked into relationships that no longer serve us.
Mm,
So when we think sometimes like, but this is my community, we have agency, we have choice.
great point.
It's a great time. Say yes to joy, be empowered. I'm looking, be present, continue to grow. I'm looking at the themes. Follow your theme and ask yourself, does this relationship, does this community, does this activity, does this job fit with who and how I want to be? And if not, there are certain relationships you can't leave behind. Others, it takes courage, but you can sort of take yourself away from. But those that you can't, how can you minimize them so they don't impact your energy and your health? And the litmus test, the way you figure that out is do the practices so you can really be present and think about, how do I feel? Because if you are paying attention, there are certain people you see and it's like your heart opens and you're just singing. It's amazing. And there are other people you see and you're like, I need to put my armor on, right?
Mm.
Armor. So connection, community is important, and there's an opportunity to let go of those that don't serve anymore.
Mm.
Can I pop in on that too? Oh, sorry,
please.
Christine.
Go, because good for us.
Yeah, well, clearly there's a lot of energy around this word connection. I feel it too. And Barbara, to the point that you were just making, I think we often forget to remind ourselves that it starts with connection with self. And this is something I've been getting so clear on, and it's emerging as a bigger piece of my work as well. Firstly, the work I'm doing myself, and then the work I'm putting out in the world. But I realized like so much of it, like we really only know what we want, what we need, what we desire, what our theme is, what our word is, what we want to give ourselves permission to do if we're really taking that moment of quiet and starting that inner dialogue with ourselves, listening to our souls. And so I wanted that to be part of the foundation we're laying here, because I think it's such an exquisite and often overlooked piece of this work.
Yeah, I'd love to tag off of that I have been watching Christine transform this year. It's been amazingly inspiring to watch you. And I think some of the things that we all experience is what we see with all of you who are coming to us online, on campus, what's happening in this stage of our life. My theme for the year is alignment, that many of us get stuck in these patterns or habits, or that maybe there's a reason that we're not doing the thing. Like there's sort of this, anyone notice as you get to the stage of life, been used to like nose to the grindstone for so long, whether it's nose to the grindstone for work, parenting, partners, all the stuff. And then when that loosens up a little bit, it can be super disorienting. And then it's easy to fall into what I need to do. Somebody else is doing this, I need to do that. And yet maybe it isn't the right thing to do. Maybe we need time to contemplate. Like I'm watching Christine work out. I am not working out. My husband is working out every day. I can't get to the gym. I can't. I'm so tired. And I've been watching that inner dialogue of the self beat up of what is wrong with you. You're not at the gym, but maybe what I actually need is more rest so that I can move into what feels good for me, which might be hiking instead of going to. So there's something about this that I think is really profound as we get to the stage of life is, when can we really start aligning with your inner voice and aligning with what you're really hearing is right for you in the moment, not what the shoulds or the others around you that you admire are doing. And so I'd love to have Christine comment, and then let's shift into like, how do we do that?
I actually want to swerve for a second because there's someone on the call whose lifestyle I admire a lot. I think she's sets a really great example for how I'd like to live a little bit more. So Ray Richmond, can we call you up here for a second?
Oh, let me go find.
I didn't,
Connor, if you beat me
didn't
to it.
prep you at all, and I'm putting you on the spot. But just as someone who, you're just cool, Ray, and you're good at life. and you do cool things. And I love the way that you prioritize from the outside what looks important. Do you have any words to share with us at the top of 2024 with no prep and being put on the spot?
Oh my goodness. Well, Christine, thank you. That is, I feel so honored. I'm laughing because I don't know if you guys can see my necklace.
The best.
But this is what I've been wearing. This is my intention for the year. So everything that you guys are saying is resonating, and really to think about my own inner voice, my own inner intuition as my guide, rather than really seeking all the external voices, listening to my own wisdom and following joy. I don't have too much to add. Everything you're saying is resonating. For me, I chose a career that was purpose-driven many, many years ago, and that has served me well in taking me down very unexpected pathways. So that sense of adventure that I'm seeing in the chats, and that sense of, really composing a life that brings you joy. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Ray. Thank you for jumping in. Appreciate you.
I love this. We're going to continue doing like calling folks up as you have questions and comments and so on. So I love that. Janice popped in there listening to your wisdom and following joy. Janice is actually teaching with Barbara. So Barbara, do you want to hop in for a second? And Janice, if I know you're coughing your head off, so you don't have to come up here, because if you're sick, it's only fine. So if you want to, you can raise your hand, but otherwise we'll give you a hall pass.
Okay, two things. First, I saw in the chat that someone was saying, why only one theme? Can't I have a lot of themes? So I want to respond to that. I do this with individuals. I do this with companies. One overriding theme doesn't mean other things aren't important. But just like the best companies, and we're all products, right? We're all putting ourselves together to be who we want to be for ourselves and the world. So think of yourself as that product. It's like, just do it. Who is that? I could name the best companies that have a tagline and you get it. Sorry, I forget the one for Harley Davidson, but it gives you sort of your touchstone. So when I have something come up or I'm feeling some anxiety, I'm like, say yes to joy. It's my directionality. So it doesn't mean other things aren't important, but it's really helpful to have a touchstone. If it works for you to have two, we're all an experiment of one. So do what works for you. No one's checking how many themes you have. So if it works for you to have more, have more. And next, I do want to say I'm so excited that Janice and I are going to dance together in Baja with an amazing group of people. She is remarkable and has developed this crush that we're going to bring to the work and help people work through. It's going to be a really awesome week. And I'm just so thrilled that Janice and I are going to be doing this together.
Janice is another one that we met in our beta. And we just had people come through, and everyone who came through beta when we were building out MEA really did contribute to where we ended up. And some we just fell so deeply in love with that we were like, oh, we need to keep you. And Janice was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So Janice, thank you for being along for the ride for so long.
So I'd love to pivot, Shelley. Talk to us about what is a soul-batical, because I think all the themes we're hearing today, where everybody is tuning into that truth for themselves, does tie into what you've experienced yourself in walking away from something that didn't really work for you, and the process that you discovered and then were able to share with others is just so brilliant.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts percolating, so I will answer your question too, but I love this conversation because there's so many good things in the chat and that all of you are saying. I guess I'll set the foundation by answering your question and saying soulbatical it probably doesn't mean exactly what you think it means. So it's a provocative word. It's also a totally made up word. If you've ever been in my universe or met me, you know one of my favorite things to do is make up language that I intersperse throughout the F-bombs, and we just have fun because you know what? We get to do life in whatever way feels good for us. So Soulbatical was this idea or this concept that I created when, like Christine said, I was chief marketing officer at Harley Davidson. I had this dream job at this iconic brand that people tattoo on their bodies. And for whatever reason that I didn't understand at the time, I felt really empty inside. And I didn't understand how I could have gotten to this point where I followed the success script that was handed to me. I did all the things. I ticked all the boxes. I was in doing, like Barbara was saying. And I wasn't tuned in inside. And so I had this growing feeling of emptiness and exhaustion and burnout that I couldn't process. And so I made the decision, after getting literally the wake up call from a nightmare that I had over and over and over again, that I suddenly understood was showing me a proxy for my soul that was neglected and dying and malnourished. And I understood that I had a choice. I was at a crossroads, and I needed to really understand, who is Shelley Paxton without iconic brands and world travel and sexy titles and all of these things. And so that was the beginning. And I couldn't explain it to people because everybody thought I was batshit crazy for leaving this, dream job. And so I created this word. And so I really did think it meant at the time leaving your job or taking a big long break for 6 months to a year. And now what I understand, I've even written a definition for it. I understand that it's a way of being in full alignment with one's soul. It's actually a choice to live more authentically and courageously and purposefully, basically from the inside out, all of the things we've been talking about. So I went from thinking it meant that you have to take this big long break to realizing it means you get to choose how you live, and the actual script comes from in here. And it reflects so much of what we've been talking about in this conversation. And I think that alignment, Carrie, to use your word, that is a word that really resonates with me. I don't talk about balance. I talk about alignment. And so one way to start, even thinking about this is really get clear on your values. You think it's hard to choose one theme for the year? Try choosing your top 2 or 3 values that then guide all of the choices you make in your life. That will start giving you a really strong foundation for Soulbatical, but it brings you in communication with your deepest truths and values and desires. So long-winded answer, but hopefully there's some yummy stuff to play with in that.
Put me in, coach. Carrie.
Go.
So what keeps coming up for me as we're talking, all the different themes, all the people that are feeding in here is, we talk about one of our powers as we age, as we have more experience, is pattern recognition. And pattern recognition comes from noticing. And we've even dug into this a little bit. If our power is noticing, and if the practices that we use to help really ground and tap into ourselves are about noticing ourselves and recognizing our own patterns and our own, basically turning that pattern recognition on ourselves as a way to, as Shelley says, find your alignment, as Barbara said, to I don't want to misuse your words, Barbara, but you basically said essentially to know who you are, right? To find your own self. It is all about noticing, and it is something with practice and time, we just get better and better at as we go. So, Shelley, you just helped really focus that for me, this idea of noticing both externally and internally. And then it really starts with us. So
I love that. And I just want to answer a question. Somebody was saying, like, how do I even start this values refinement? And so I just put in the chat a link to my favorite list of values, which is Brene Brown's Dare to Lead. She has a 1-page PDF. I use it all the time in workshops with clients, for myself. take that as a starting point and then keep refining. Maybe start with 15 words that resonate, get to 10, get to 5. And I promise you, the hardest work is getting to those top 3. And it's also the most life-changing work that you'll do. So that's a starting point, because I think from values, when you get clear on that, you can really start to determine what are the boundaries I want to put in place that are in service of my well-being and in service of my values. And then you can start to create your life and manage your energy and all of these beautiful things we're talking about.
I think it ties what Christine was saying together really well, that if you think about different words that represent values, and there will be a word that will just resonate, that's listening to yourself. And then you may notice a pattern of how this value has showed up in your life. And then that becomes a superpower, that if you're faced with a decision that you're struggling to make, if you can go back to those core values, your superpower, it can help bring a little clarity to those decisions. And Barbara, maybe you want to chat a little bit about this, because I know this is something you spend a ton of time working on.
Yes, doll, this is so amazing. So it's not as hard as you think it is to call out and be in touch with your values. Here's what it is. It is your wisdom. And what we're all doing with the work through MEA is helping people call up the wisdom that already resides inside of you. It is your life history, it's your spirit, it's your soul, it's your physical body, it's your story or many stories. So it is the ability to join your gut, which is where your intuition lives, with your heart, with your head. And that only comes from having these intentional practices that don't necessarily take long, but have you feeling really present. For example, we're all really busy. Carrie, we need to talk later, because everyone has time to use their physical bodies, and we need to do it. So I gotcha. In the morning, we all tend to have a ritual where how we brush our teeth, and then thinking, I'm going to start doing it with my other hand. I'm a righty, my left hand, to be conscious about what I'm doing. It's also good for your brain. How I make my tea in the morning. When I was raising my kids and I had no time, I would always take the time. Their first word, all 3 of them, was hot, because I'd be making my tea, holding them, and I'd say, this is hot. That became my ritual to center. I depended on it, ground myself. Think about one thing that can help you be present and in touch, and then think about, how do I connect my head, my heart, and my gut? That's one thing. The other, and this is something we'll do at MEA in February, is look at the trajectory of your life stories. Think it through, do a lifeline. I know Leslie did that when we were together in Baja. Maybe you can speak to that. I don't, if you care to. But when you look at the patterns in your life, your values pop up and slap you in the face, and it becomes so obvious. So Leslie, do you want to?
Leslie, of course, is recovering from also the January sickie. So thank you for being here today, Leslie.
Oh, no. Good to be here. And that memory of your workshop, Barbara, it was really a turning point for me. I came in, background in coaching, kind of thought, oh, I know this. You introduced that lifeline exercise to us. And I remember saying, I've done this so many times. I know what my answers are. And you just gently put your hand on my shoulder and said, just try it again. And that was the point, the exercise that was the catalyst for me to make a huge shift and change after leaving that week in my career. So thank you for that. So powerful and really important.
It's that, thank you. It's that alignment piece. And I want to add on to what Shelley was saying about alignment. I think it was Shelley, maybe it was Christine, and maybe it was Carrie, maybe it's all of us, which is a lot of times we're looking for, I want to be more balanced this year. Balance is not the goal, because truly we're not ever in balance. It's, how do I integrate all the aspects of my life So when I know, so my morning routine is Qigong, meditation, exercise. Today, I've been meeting with clients and super early who are on the East Coast, and I knew I'm letting go of that today because January is a catch-up kind of month. So how do I integrate? So on balance, I feel like I'm using all parts of myself and staying really present, but I'm not balancing every day, or I'm not balancing every week. That is kind of a fool's choice because we always feel unsuccessful. And that's where our gremlins and our kind of self-doubt comes in. So use what you have, use your time well, even in those small moments, to bring all those three elements together. And
I love that. Katya said balance schmalance. Well, I still have Leslie up here. I want to give you guys a chance to come on stage to chat with all of us. The best way to do that is to practice using the reactions button, which is fun to use because there's these emojis, which we find incredibly entertaining. You can hit fire an emoji whenever you want to, but below that is the raise your hand button. And meanwhile, Leslie is likely the person that you may get to talk to if you decide to book a call. That this big announcement that Leslie's helping to oversee our admissions as well as our alumni. She's the front door and the back door girl. You'll see her on the way in and you'll see her on the way out. And there's nobody better than Leslie for that. And so I just want to reiterate, it's a big deal that you can call us at MEA. You don't get a chat bot. You get a person. So if you're kind of on the fence, yes, I see Dune's like, yay, yes, we're real people. So maybe Leslie, just for a second, you can kind of explain, what does that mean, the book a call, and that you really do mean it, that people can book a call, even if you just want to ask a very generic question.
Yes. And I also want to acknowledge that Daniel Booz and also Shelby Nelson are on this call, and they're in our admissions team as well. So we're all here to take calls, and everybody's coming in with different questions and in different places, and so we want to help guide you to make the best choice for a workshop that you may be interested in, or how we can support you in your journey. So just know that there's Shelby, there's Daniel.
I'm trying to get Daniel up here. Daniel, this is what happens. Get used to being with MEA. Boom.
There we go.
This fantastic admissions team. So Shelley, say hi. Shelby, say hi. And then Daniel, say hi. Love to have you guys introduce yourselves to the community.
Hi, so I am also alongside Miss Leslie. I've been with MEA for now 1.5 years, and I've actually probably spoken with more than half of you on this call, it seems like, at this rate. So it's a pleasure to see you all, and can't wait to connect with those I haven't spoken with yet.
Yay, thanks, Shelby. And she's also a Zoom queen in the background, like nobody's business. So love that. Daniel, welcome to the team.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm excuse me, only 2 weeks in. Kind of lost my voice a little bit, but really thrilled to be here. Two-time MEA alum, and MEA absolutely was part of a pivotal journey of 2023 for me. And I want to help get people to Shelley and Barb and everybody else. So there's just so much great content, and if you look at the calendar this spring, it's incredible. So many amazing teachers, so many topics that can kind of pinpoint whatever's going on in your life, whether it's transition, finding wisdom. There's just so much there. So thrilled to be a part of the team and to help guide people to an amazing experience like I've had.
Thanks for just throwing up there on the spot here. All right, so we're going to take some calls. David, in order to be up with us, we do ask if you can open up your camera. Is that possible, David, or you can just chat with us?
Yay!
There you are. Hi, David.
Hello, can you folks hear me?
Yep.
Greetings from snowy Vermont. I just kind of want to make a couple of points that I think might be helpful to a few newer to the MEA journey on the call. Just one point of context. So I've been to Baja. I've taken, I think, 3 now amazing courses that were led by Carrie and Jeff, and so I'm hooked. And I was thinking about in this conversation, there's a couple of points that I think play into my own journey, of which I've been kicked back into the messy middle as of this Monday. But that tends to be a good space for me. So I'm excited about where that leads me. But a couple of points I wanted to make just that might be helpful for people. I think I was fortunate enough to have met Shelley in person when I was in Baja briefly and pick up her book while I was there, which I have, after this call, now moved to the top of my stack to read. And I have to tell you, Shelley, the thing you said was so important to me, because, to be honest, I think the reason I haven't cracked the book yet is because I thought of sabbatical as a noun, and you described it as a verb. And I think that's super important. I think the reality of how it plays in to day-to-day life, and the things, for me personally, I could be doing as sort of supporting the way I'm being, I think are really important. So I thank you for that definition. And I want to sort of play that into something that Barbara said when she talked about the importance of rituals. I myself changed a few rituals after coming back from Baja. And I frankly stole a page from the productivity market where they talk about something called habit stacking. And I've turned it into something I call ritual stacking. And so my ritual in the morning is I chose, to the point about time, I chose to start getting up much earlier in the morning as a way to do my journaling. And I have fallen in love with pour over coffee. And I realized that those two rituals stack together really, really well. They don't actually have to be done. They're actually part of bundling them together into one ritual. So I offer up to this group the idea of maybe ritual stacking will help you find time that you can, otherwise it's not multitasking, because it actually becomes one ritual. So I just offer that up for thought. Thanks all.
Thanks,
Nice
David.
to see you, David. Great stuff.
Any you guys want to pick up on that at all? And then meanwhile, raise your hand, y'all. Pop your hands up. We want to build on that. This idea of ritual stacking is really yummy. I love that.
I'll jump in. So all of what we're trying to do, connecting ourselves with rituals, with habits, has to do with our energy. We are energetic beings, right? It's why our spinal cord gets cut. The impulses from our brains, which are electrical impulses, actually can't get through. The world is energy. So how do we create the energy to be who and how we want to be, and have the equanimity, have the consistency that it works throughout the day? So one of my challenges has always been my energy wanes throughout the day. So I need to stay very conscious about, okay, what is it I need to tune in? And so my rituals get stacked, but they're separated throughout the day. So ask yourself, what's cluttering your mind and your spirit and your energy? And then experiment with a decluttering exercise. So one of the things I'll offer is, and I'll put it in the chat, I am doing some work with Stanford Lifestyle Medicine, because lifestyle is medicine. And what I've done for them is created a assessment, and they're going to be using it, but it's also on my website. I give it away for free. It's called the 7 Lifestyle Levers Assessment. And it's how you can understand 35 questions to assess where are you falling short in any of these. It has to do with social connections, physical body, nutrition, rest and renewal, a number of areas. So if you take this, you can get yourself set to see, what is one micro step I can take? What's a ritual that I can use in order to boost my sense of energy and equanimity? So just sending that out there as something very practical and tactical you can use after the call today.
Go, Shelley.
I would love to build on that. Thank you for tying that all together, Barbara, because one of the things that I realized I kind of threw out at the very end of describing sabbatical was this idea or concept of energy management. And you just summarized it so beautifully. I would say one of the most massive shifts in my life and in my work over the past 5 to 7 years has been not thinking about my life in terms of time management, but thinking about my life in terms of energy management around, Barbara, exactly what you just said. And a simple way to even start getting at that, is probably, I haven't done your 7 levers of what did you call it?
7 lifestyle levers
Yes. Okay. I'm doing that. That's homework that I'm definitely doing after this. Another way to think about it is do regular audits on what are your soul fuels and what are your soul sucks, because so often we are doing things based on, Carrie, you said the shoulds. I call them the shackles of should. You are shoulding yourself into spending so much of your energy on things that you're doing out of guilt and obligation and people pleasing and habit. So getting clear on what some of those things are also helps you shift towards spending more time. I mean, listen, I get it. We have to do taxes. Taxes are a soul suck for all of us. But how can we make smaller decisions on a daily basis to shift more into what is giving us energy and where we're getting energy? So that fundamental shift around what you said, Barbara, I think is also a game changer.
You just said something really important, and then someone followed up in the chat. Now, so many people are in the chat, I can't see where it was, but it caught my eye. I used to go to the gym to really push it. And Christine, you're talking about weightlifting, which I do also at 61. It's like, I need to do more, not less of it. It's this idea of, are we going to renew ourselves or to like kill it? And I think the American way has been like, kill it. Whereas when we look at the longest lived communities and individuals, they haven't been killing it at the gym like us Americans do. They go to push themselves, but in a way that energizes them at the same time. So they're not like hauling ass for the rest of the day, which I've been guilty of doing, and then thinking, oh my God, I need a nap. How do we tire ourselves but not exhaust ourselves? So key.
I want to
So
pull
fun.
that quote because it's so great. It's from Valerie Courtney. Thank you. It says, one of my MEA compadres recently said, I'm going to the gym to get some energy. And
That's
that is such a great reframe.
Yes.
Thank you, Valerie.
Yes, we're gonna pull back to Blue Zones, Nicole, in a minute. Love that you brought that up. But hi, Kat. Thanks for your patience. Good to
Hey.
see you.
Hi, Kat.
Hi, Christine. Hi, everyone. I wanted to end Shelley and Barbara. I was almost going to run and put my Harley Davidson jacket on when I heard I have the coolest jacket someone gave me. Anyway, I wanted to just share. I forget who it was, but we were talking about saying yes, saying no, and things like that. And I'm pretty sure this is a really aware group. You've heard of Gay and Katie Hendricks. And Katie, I've listened to, and she said something once where when you're trying to make a decision or about a person, situation, conversation, whatever it might be, if it's not 100% full body yes, like yes, then it's a no. If it's just a kind of yeah, then it's a no. It's really, and I've been using that because it's the whole feeling tone in the body. And the other thing, Carrie, I think you were saying, oh, my husband's going to the gym and I'm not, yeah, right. And I've been in fitness a really, really long time and was a big pusher, push. And now, because I'm 66, I'm going to be 67. I can't even believe it. I'm really into yoga nidra. And yoga nidra is this, I love it because you lie down and meditate. I don't have to sit up, but it's so calming to my nervous system. And I've noticed as time goes by, which is how I say aging, as time goes by, I've gotten more kind of feeling frantic. And to calm that down, that approach of yoga nidra has been really helpful. So
Kat, totally love that you said that for the people like me who are like, I'm not lifting weight. Yes, yoga nidra, like the rest to restore is so fundamental. So you're not burning all this cortisol without restoring. And Tracy Stanley actually is teaching at MEA, who is a master yoga nidra teacher. She's Oprah's yoga teacher. She's here at MEA. So I'm so glad you brought that up. For the rest of you who are like me, who are sitting there like, I'm not feeling it. Yes, restorative activity. So thank you for that, Kat.
As you see my kettlebell over there in the corner, right?
We'll get there.
Kat is really soft pedaling her fitness background. For those of you who don't know her, Kat was like a fitness influencer before there was such a thing. You really are such an icon for taking care of ourselves and honoring the body. You are a pretty
Thank you.
amazing inspiration.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I love
you,
that.
Kat.
Thank you, Kat. And can I just comment? I put this in the chat, but I love where you started as well, Kat. This idea that one of the greatest things I was ever taught in this journey is it's either hell yes or hell no. There is no such thing as a hell maybe. And I think we so often pigeonhole ourselves into a hell maybe. And we're like, yeah, but I'll probably feel better about it when the thing comes in 2 months. And it comes in 2 months. And you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? I don't want to do this thing. I have no energy for this thing. It drains my soul. So that alone, is it a hell yes? Do I feel it in every cell in my body and in my soul? And if not, it's a no. I think the fewer things we put in the maybe bucket, the more energy we free up in our lives.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you.
Oh my God, this is so good.
Shelley, you make me think about JOMO, right? We all talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out. I love the JOMO, the joy of missing out sometimes.
There's some midlife
Amen.
wisdom, baby, right there. Yes, ma'am. Well,
I know
speaking,
we only have a few minutes, but there's one thing that I do want to do before we get into a wrap up, and it is I'm being opportunistic. Sembe, I see that you are on this call, and I know that there is a concept that is the way that you deliver hospitality by assuming that everyone or acting like everyone is your grandmother or your grandparents, and that there is a word for that in Japanese. Am I on the right path? And if so, can you share that word with us in the chat and maybe speak it for us too, so that we can hear it?
oh, every time someone can you guys help me find Sembe? It's a Zoom thing. There we go. Hi, Sembe. Look at that MEA framed certificate behind you. You are a beloved triple crowner alumni. Thank you for being here. And God knows what time it is right now in Japan.
Now it's about 3 o'clock.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. Yeah.
Sembe.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for being here.
But it's very fine today. Yeah. Yes. Christine, thank you very much for your question. I can understand about the word in Japanese to translate in English, but sorry.
Someone
Yeah,
said
it is very important.
omotenashi. Is it omotenashi?
Omotenashi is for the other people to, but for the older people to do is omotenashi is give to the a personality good for the other people. For the Japanese people used for the invite the 2020 Olympic game.
Sembe, I've put you on the spot at 3 o'clock in the morning. I
Sorry.
appreciate you jumping in. We can continue this on email. Maybe it is this word, omotenashi, but the idea that we treat everyone with the same respect that we would want our grandparents treated with. Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you. Sorry.
I love that so much.
No, you're perfect.
Yeah, Sembe,
always
we
perfect.
actually have recorded many of Sembe's distillations of our work that he has done translating. So thank you, Sembe. Speaking of the blue zones, this has come up quite a bit. We haven't had a chance to talk about it, but I do want to quickly announce that we do have a really significant partnership that MEA is doing with Dan Buettner and the Blue Zones Corporation, where we are going to be training to teach the Blue Zones programming at MEA, and we'll be offering that 4 times a year, twice in Baja, twice in Santa Fe, once we kind of get rolling out next year. It's really exciting. So we have 2 Blue Zone dates on the calendar for this year on both campuses. And our supremely favorite modern elder is one of the team that's going to be trained, Jim Flaherty. Hello, Jim. It's so great that you raised your hand, and it's going to be really fun to incorporate you into the upcoming Blue Zooming programming. But that was not why you're here. You must have had a question.
Yeah, I would love hearing all you young chicks talk about creating energy and all the rituals and all that crap. I'll be 89 years old this year. So I'm through with the messy middle. I've had enough messy middles in my life, and I think that I'm through with them. Right now, I have a new exercise for this week, at least, which is I write a blog every morning before I look at my email. I spend 30 minutes and I write a blog. I try to think in terms of MEA, because God knows there's enough subjects if you talk about messy middles and and transitions in life. But hey, I think part of rituals is having discipline. It's very important. I know we're going to run out of time very quickly, but being disciplined, I do. Even before Admiral McLaren wrote a book about it, I get up every morning and turn around and make my bed. I have a full-time nanny who lives in and takes care of me, which my children love, so they don't ever have to think about their elderly father. Not that they think of me as elderly; they should think of me as a pet. No, they don't. We actually get along very well. They do laugh. They say a sweet, conscientious father of 88 would just go to bed and not wake up and leave his children some money. But no, not you. You'll live forever just to spite us. And that's exactly what I have in mind. But I do think having discipline in your life is very good for you. And accept the fact that every day is a gift. There are no guarantees you were going to wake up this morning. No guarantees that you would be sitting here listening to these three terrific dames talk to us about all of their wisdom and their own passages in life. So now you have a chance to say, hot damn, I've got another day to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, share, love. Do it. Yes. So enjoy it, friends. And those of you who have not embraced the love and the chemistry that you can get from MEA, do it. Get a list of the workshops and find one that is meaningful for you and do it. I went to 2 last year, and you go there with 25 complete strangers and you leave with 25 friends for life. And it's wonderful and illuminating, and we'll all be better people. And Happy New Year, friends. Happy to see you all.
James, before you go, there's a question in the chat about your blog. Is there a way that people can find your blog?
These particular blogs I've not made public. You can look at my own website, which is jamesbflaherty.com.
Okay, pop it in the chat, Jim.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, the call links are broken on the website, someone said. That's convenient. So
okay,
if you guys have a chance to check that out, and if the admissions, just pop your emails into the chat so you guys can reach out. Final words. We have 1 minute. Everyone knows I'm maniacal about time. Because we respect your time. You may have something to do. So let's do a quick wrap. Christine, go.
Strength.
Okay. Shelley, Barbara.
Energy.
I'll add something new to the mix.
Energy. Yeah, energy. Good.
Agnostic. Jim reminded me of this. A chronological number does not define us anymore. Be age agnostic and live your best life.
Shelley, take us home, my friend.
Oh, I said energy.
There we go. And I see everybody's popping their words. If you have a new word,
I love it.
As of this hour, throw it in so all of you can take the final word. We're so grateful for this community, truly. Like, this gives us energy. This is one of our favorite things to do in our week and our day. And there's Spec, the ambassador, sending his love. So happy 2024. Welcome to a fantastic year. I hope you guys had a great time. We'll send you the recording of this as well as all the links. So don't worry if you feel a little overwhelmed with all of that. And Leslie, do you want to pop that song back on for us and we'll take us out of here? Here we go. There it is.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sebe. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful